say this is one more node. This is third node. Okay. There's one more node here. Okay. And then let's say there is an edge from this to this. Okay. There is an edge from this to this. Let's say this to this, and there is an edge from this to this. Okay. Like this. And as you can see, with this, there is no edge between these three. Okay, there is no edge between this, this. Okay, so you can say that this is one group or one party. Let's say this is another group or another party. Okay, so there is no edge between these three. There is no edge in this. So you can say this is, let's say, kind of group one, or you can say this is a group two. Okay, and I'll give some number. Let's say 1, 2, 3, and say A and B. Okay. So what do you mean by bipartite graph? Okay. So a graph, a simple graph, huh? It is not a multi-graph, or say it does not have any loops and all those things. A simple graph is called bipartite if, let's say, its set of vertices can be partitioned into two groups, okay, or two disjoint sets. Let's say this is sets, let's say V1 and V2. So what is your V? So initially you have 1, 2, 3, A, B. But as you can see, with this particular property, you can have V1 is 1, 2, 3, and V2 is A, B. Okay, so it can be partitioned into two groups such that there is an edge connecting from this group to this group. Okay, and there is no edge connecting between that subsets or subgroup. Okay, so are you getting me? So there should not be any. If there is an edge like this, then it won't be a bipartite graph. Okay, so you have to make sure that there should not be an edge within the group. Okay, so this is what is a bipartite graph. And there is one more say version of this bipartite graph, which is called as complete bipartite graph. What do you mean by complete bipartite graph? Initially, we have seen a complete graph. Complete graph means every edge is every node is connected to all other n minus node. But here in this case, what do you mean? Is this a complete bipartite graph? No, because from 1 to A there is an edge, but there is no edge from 1 to B. Okay, even from 3 to A there is no edge. So it is this particular graph. Let's say I'll say G1. This G1 is not complete bipartite graph. Whereas you can draw, let's say, kind of complete bipartite graph. Let's say this is one node. Let's say I will have one node here, and one node over here, and like that. You have one more node here, one more node here, and one more node here. And I'll say that. Okay. I'll first of all name it. Let's say A, B, C. Let's say 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then you have edges from A to 1, A to 2, A to 3, B to 1, B to 2, and B to 3, C to 3, C to 2, and C to 1. Okay, and you can say that this particular graph G2 is bipartite graph. So here you have one party, and here you have another one. I'll try to draw it neatly. Okay, so there is an edge from every vertex of V1 to every vertex of V2. Then it is called as complete bipartite graph, and it is denoted as K, M, N. Now this particular graph G2 is K 3 by 3. Means what? There are 3 vertices in set V1 and there are 3 vertices in set V2. Okay, so it is denoted as 3 by 3. If you say K 3 by 2, then it will be like this. Okay, there are 3 vertices on this side, 1, 2, 3, and there are 2 vertices on this side. So there will be say How many edges? 3 into 2, 6 edges. Okay, good. Okay. So this is complete bipartite graph, and there exists one theorem of this bipartite graph, and it is very interesting theorem. So say a graph is bipartite if and only if its vertices can be colored with two colors so that every edge connects vertices of, let's say, different color. So what is the condition? That the vertices should connect the vertices, sorry, the edges should connect the vertices of different color. For example, let us say here I give, let's say, blue color. So let this be blue, then this will be, say, red. Okay, and since this is red, so ultimately on this side you will have blue, and since this is blue, so on this side you will have red. Here you will have red, and everywhere you will have blue. So blue on this side and red on this side. So the graph can be colored at most with two colors. Okay, not more than two colors. Then and then only it is called as bipartite graph. Okay. Example. So you can have various examples of this. So for example, let's say you want to have a team of two students. You have to pick up from, let's say, set 1 and set 2. Okay, so for example, let's say I say Ganesh. Okay, then Saurabh, and then let's say Minal. Okay, let's say something like Donal. Okay, then Samir. Okay, and let's say Dinesh. Now you want to pick a pair of students. Okay, such that you have to pick one teammate from, or one member from V1 and one member from V2. So you will have, let's say, for example, you can have uh, Ganesh and Samir, you can have Sonal and Minal, and Saurav and Dinesh, okay? Or you may have probably, let's say, Ganesh and Dinesh, okay? So like that, you can go on pairing this. So this is, but you cannot have, let's say, a team of this particular set. So I can have this as the disjoint, okay? So here, you cannot have Ganesh and Saurav or Saurav and Sonal. So this is not allowed. So in this case, this particular example is called as bipartite graph, isn't it? Are you getting me? Okay. So this is the best example of bipartite graph. So even you have choices to be made from two different sets. Okay, not within the set. Okay. So there are many applications of bipartite graph, and even you can have many examples in the bipartite graph. Okay. Okay. I'll just give you one example for. Okay. So just tell me whether this graph is a bipartite graph or not. It is not drawn like what you have seen earlier. Okay. Now, so, so let's say A, B, C, D, and E. Can you tell me whether this particular graph, let's say G1, is bipartite or not? Okay, and side by side, I'll give you one more. Let's say this is G2. You can draw it side by side and tell me whether this is also bipartite or not. So let's say A, B, C, D, and E. Let's say this is G2. Okay. So which one is bipartite? You can type it in the chat box and let me know. Yes. G1 is bipartite. Okay. What about G2? So someone said G1 is bipartite. Yes, G1 is bipartite. Why it is so? You can see that here. What I'll do, I'll just draw B on this side and A, C, D, and E. Okay. Look at the edges. Okay, you have A to B. Okay, I'll first of all name it. So A, C, D, and E. This is B. You have A to B, A to B. Sorry, you have A to B. You have D to B. So D to B. You have E to B, E to B, then C to B, C to B, and perfectly it is this is one party and this is another party. So it is a bipartite graph. Okay. So can we do with this? What G2 is not? Okay, let us find it out. G2 is not. So let's say I draw A over here and A to B, A to D, and A to E. Okay, let's do it. And probably C over here. Okay, I will just name it. This is A and C. This is B, D, and E. Okay. A to B. So A to B, you have a line. A to D, you have a line, edge. A to E, you have an edge. Okay. And like that, E to C, you have an edge. Okay. D to C, you have an edge. And then C to D, you have an edge. That's what we have done. Okay. And what is remaining? B to C, B to C, you have an edge. Okay. E to, okay, I'll just, A to B, we have done. B to C, B to C, we have done. Okay. C to D, we have done. A to D, A to D, we have done. A to E, A to E, we have done. And then what is remaining? E to C, E to C. And this is also bipartite. Who said it is not bipartite? Sagar? Just check it once again, cross check it. Okay, I may be wrong, but look at that. Okay. Yes or no? Perfectly done. What about others? Others also check whether it is bipartite or not. Sagar, Janardhan, Atharva, okay, Pratiksha, Vaishnavi, then Pratiksha, Tushar, Swapnil, Saurabh. Check this. Is this okay? Come on, quick, quick, quick. Okay, Ganesh said it is fine. Tushar also said it is fine. Okay, so this is correct. I have not cross-checked with my answer, but okay. Let us have one more. Let's say this is A, then this is B. Okay, let me draw it. Then E and F, and then this is D. Let me draw the edges. A. Okay, first of all, let me write it. A, B, it's a C, D, it's a E, and F. Okay. Then A to E, A to E, A to F, okay. B to F, and B to E, okay. D to E and D to F, okay. C to E and F, okay. It's something like that. So tell me whether it is going to be bipartite or not. I think it is going to be bipartite. Yes or no? Okay, A, D, B, C on one side and E, F, E and F are on one side. Okay, so just check whether this is going to be bipartite or not. Okay, let's say this is going to be your G3. Okay, so your A, B, C, D will be on one side and E and F will be on one side. So A to E, F, B to E, F, C to E, F, and D to E, F. It is going to be complete bipartite graph. Are you getting me? There is no edge between E and F. So that's why they are, and there is no edge between A, B, C, D. Direct edge. Are you getting me? Yes? Are you with me, guys? Any doubt, any question? Is it easy? Okay, good. So we'll go with the next part. So let me add a page. And so it is what is very simple concept, which is called as subgraph. So I'll directly write a definition. It is what is a subgraph means you have a subset of vertices and subset of edges removed from graph. Okay, so let's say subgraph of H is equal to, let's say, W comma F. Okay, of a graph. What is the graph? Let's say G is equal to U comma sorry, you can have U, or let's say I'll take V comma E. Okay, vertices and edges. It's a graph. So H is a graph, or H is called a subgraph of G if or where W is subset of V and F is subset of E. Okay, so a graph, let's say for example, I'll draw, let's say, I'll just draw some random graph for you. Okay, so I'll give some name. Let's say A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, and then you can say that let's say this C, D, and E. So this is called a subgroup of this. Let's say this is G1 and let's say G2. Okay. So G2 is subgraph of G1 if the vertices of G2 are subset of vertices of G1 and set of edges are subset of set of edges of G1. Okay. So here in this case, these three vertices are, let's say this is the subset of this. Okay. So this is called a subgraph. Okay. And then you have one more definition in that. So let's say subgraph H is a proper subgraph of G if and only if H is not equal to G. Okay. So if it is not the part of G, then it is called as proper subgraph. Okay. So here we have seen that this is actually a proper subgraph of this. Okay. So this is not part of this, exactly the part of this. So H is not equal to G, then it is called as proper subgraph. Okay. And then comes another concept which is called as union of graphs. Okay. So I'll write the union of two simple graphs, let's say G1, G2, denoted by, how do you denote it? G1 union G2. The union is the simple graph with vertex set. Okay. V1 union V2, and ultimately you will have union of the edges also, E1 union E2. Okay. So for example, here I'll draw a simple graph for you. Let's say this, and let's say one more G2. Mm, okay. So it's A, B, C, D, and E. Let this be G1 and let this be G2. So here you can have D, E, and F. Okay. So here you have D, E, and D, E common. Okay. So what will be the resultant graph after union of this? So here you will have A, then you will have B, then you will have C, then you will have D, E, and this is what is your F. So how do we, this is what is your original G1, A, B, C, okay, then D, and then E, okay, and this is what is your G2, D, E, and F. I'll write the name. So this is A, B, C, D, E, and this is going to be F. And this is your G1 union G2. Okay, good. Okay, so I'll just say this, add a page after it. Okay. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Okay, now what we will see now is representing graphs. Okay, in the last lecture also we have seen how to represent graphs. So for example, let's say I have a graph like this. Let's say with one node, let's say Here it is, here it is, here it is, and here it is. So draw. Okay, I'll give some name. Let's say A, B, C, E, and D. Okay, now how do we represent this graph? So there is one method called as this. Set a space over here. Okay. The first method is called as adjacency list. Okay. The first method is for representing the graph is adjacency list. What do we do here? So we have a table. So here it is vertex, and then what we have, the next column is adjacency vertices. So adjacent, let's say vertices. Okay. So what are the values that we will have over here? Okay, for example, let's say A, and for A, how many vertices are adjacent? So you can see that you have B, you can have C, and you can have E. So I'll say B, comma C, comma E are adjacent to A. Then you take B, and for B, how many vertices are adjacent? Only A is adjacent. Okay, and for C, okay, C, A, E, and D. So A, D, and E. Okay, and for D, there are two edges, so it means that only C and E. So C and E, and then for E, you have A, C, and D. So A, C, and D. So with this, you can have a nice tabular representation, which will give you an idea about which vertices are adjacent to each other. Okay, so you will not have any edges over here, but with this, okay, let's say I don't have this. I just, let's say, don't consider this graph. If I give only this table, can you able to draw it? Okay, so I'll take first value, let's say A. So I will draw this a vertex called as A, and then I will say B, C, E are three vertices. So I'll draw B, C, E. Okay, and I'll give name, let's say B, C, E, and then I will draw edges with this. So A to B, A to C, and A to E. Okay, then B to A it is done. C, for C, C to A is done, C to D. So I know that there will be one more vertex which is called as D. So I will draw this, and then you say this is D. C to D is going to be one more line, and C to E. So C to E is one more line. For D, D to C is line, and D to E is one more line. And for E, it is E to A, E to C, and E to D is one. And this is done. So this graph is same as this graph. The only thing is that is the representation. So you take C this here, E here, and D here. So it will look at almost same. Okay, but actually it is same. Though it is doesn't look. So we will have next concept which is called as isomorphism. So where the graph doesn't look same, but they are actually same. I'll give you one example also. Okay, I'll just draw here. Okay, it's this, and this. Okay, I will not give any name to this. Okay, this is one graph, and then I will have if I say these two graphs are same, then probably you will be wondering. But if I can say, okay, if I give name, let's say this is A, B, C, D. Okay, and then I can say A, then this is B, okay, and this is D, and this is C. So if you just put this B upside and the C down, okay, you just twist it, you will see that it is going to be the same graph. Okay, and this is called as isomorphism. Okay, we'll cover this later. Don't worry about it. Okay, I'll just clear this. This is called as graph isomorphism. Its graph are always same. Okay, so now you got this adjacency list. Okay. And what if you have a kind of directed graph? So let's say, for example, you have one directed graph over here. I will just draw some directed edges. I'll give some name over here. Let's say A, B, and C. Then here on this side in the adjacency list, you will have obviously the initial vertex, okay, and then you have terminal vertex. Got it? So from A, let's say you have B and C. So from A, this is going to B and C. From B, it is going to C, and from C, there is no age actually. So this entry will not be there. So with this, you can be able to draw a graph, isn't it? Okay, so this is called as adjacency list. Okay, then there is one more way of representation, which is called as adjacency matrix, and this is the most common way of representation. This is called as adjacency matrix. Okay. What do you mean by this? So, for example, if you have an age, then the matrix will be okay. If let's say you have a graph of size, let's say 5 nodes, then the matrix will be of size 5 by 5. Okay, and the entry at cell ij will be an age if there is an one if there is an age in graph. Okay, so let me write. Okay, so let g is equal to r v comma e, simple graph. Let's say where size of v is n, means there are n vertices. Okay, so the adjacency matrix A of G, okay, or it is also called as A of G, is n by n 0 1 matrix. So the entries in n by n matrix are 0 and 1. So it is n by n 0 1 matrix with 1 representing an age between row and column index, or the vertices representing row and column index. Say, in another words, you can say that let's say A of ij is equal to, it is very straightforward, it will be 1 or 0. So if it is 1 means if if I comma j is an age in G and 0 otherwise. Okay, got it? So let us have an example. So I'll just put a page. Okay, so let's say we have an example. I'll draw a graph for you. Say A, then B, let's say then C, okay, and then one more. And then we say A, B, C, and D. Okay. So as what is the size of the vertices? So you have 4 vertices. So ultimately there will be 4 rows and 4 columns. So the size of the adjacency matrix will be 4 by 4. Okay, good. So here you'll have, let's say, actually it is not written, so A, B, C, D. Okay, and this is your A, B, C, and D. Okay. So A to A, there is no edge. So A to B, I'll just write the first, only the edges where you have edge. So only the entries. So A to B, you have an edge. So there will be one over here, and there will be one over here too, because it is what is, symmetric one. And A to C, you have an edge. So here A to C, you will have an edge. C to B or B to C, B to C you will have an edge, and B to C you will have an edge here, and then A to D you have an edge. Okay, A to D, A to D you have an edge, and A to D you have edge, and the rest of the things you have 0, 0, 0, 0, and then this 0, 0, and 0. Got it? Okay. So this is symmetric. So A to B, you will have edge here. This entry means A to B. This means also A to B. Okay, because this is what is symmetric matrix. Good, easy. Okay. Now, can you draw a graph from a symmetric matrix or say adjacency matrix? So let us say if it is given to you, like say this is say draw graph from following adjacency matrix. Okay, let's say 0 1 1 0 and 1 0 0 1. Okay, and then 1 0 0 1 and 0 1 1 1. So this is your adjacency matrix given to you. Then can you draw a graph? Okay, so first of all, let us give names A, B, C, D, and A, B, C, D. Okay, and then let us draw a node A, and then you have an edge to B, and let's say C. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll first of all name it A, B, and C, and then what you have A to B, A to C. Done. Then you have B to C and B to D. So ultimately you will have one more vertex, it is called as D, and there is an edge from, look at this, B to D. This I'm talking about this. Okay, B to D. Okay, C to A is done. C to D. So C to D. Sorry, where is D? Here. Okay, and D to A. No, D to B done. D to C is done, and D to D. Sorry, this is 0 actually. Okay. And this is done. Okay, good. Okay, easy. So basically, adjacency matrix is also useful for undirected graphs with loops and multiple edges. Then only the thing is that it will not have uh, this 0 1 entry. So if you say, for example, here, if I say that this it is 0 instead of A to A is 1, so you will have one more edge over here. D to D was initially I wrote it as 1. Okay, then you will have an edge over here. Okay, so this is quite possible. So it can be also used for multiple edges and multiple uh, loops also. So for example, if you can have, let's say, A, B, C, D. Okay, so I'll write this as, let's say, A, B, C, D. Okay, and then I'll just add one more edge here. and like this. So how it will be? Okay, A to B, A to A is 0. Okay, A to B is, there are three edges, so you will have 3 over here. A to C is 0 and A to D is 1. Okay, so like that, A to so this is A, B, C, D. Okay, I'll write here A, B, C, and D. So B to A is 3, right? Okay, B to C, so this will be 3, 0, 1. Okay, and B to B is 0, B to C is 1, and B to D is 0. So it will be 3, 0, 1, 0. And C to A is 0, C to B is 1, C to D is 3. Okay, so C to D, sorry, this is C to C. No? C to C is 0 and this is 3, so this is 3, and D to D is 0. So this is your now adjacency matrix for multiple edges, and what you need to highlight is this. Okay, you will have multiple entries, and then this is no longer your 0 1 matrix. It is what is having the values more than 0 and 1. Okay, good. So after adjacency matrix like that, we have incidence matrix. Okay, so let me check if everything is going fine. Yeah. So what do we have here? So like the adjacency matrix, here you have the number of edges versus number of nodes. Okay. So let G is equal to V comma E be an undirected graph. Okay. And then suppose there are n vertices and m edges. So I'll write it over here. Suppose there are, or you can read it like this. So suppose there are n vertices and m edges. So size of vertices is n and size of edges are m. Okay, then the sorry this is then the incidence matrix, let's say m of size n by m is given as, so again like the adjacency matrix, so the entry of mij is equal to 1 and 0. So 1 if ej is incident with what vertex, which one, I. Okay, and 0 otherwise. Okay, so it will be clear if you have an example. So let's say you can have one example like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say this is an edge here, here, and here. Okay? And let's say A, let's say B, C, and D. And now we have to give labels to the edges. So I'll say E1, E2, and E3. Okay, so what will be the size of our incidence matrix? So it will be n by m. So here you will have A, B, C, and D. Okay, on the row heads and on the column heads, you will have E1, E2, and E3. Got it? Okay. So E1 is incident with B and D. So E1 will have 1 over here and 1 over here. Okay. E2 is incident with A and D. So E2 will have one over here and one over here. Okay, and E3 is incident with C and D. It will be one over here and one over here, and rest of the time you would here have 0, 0, and 0. Okay, and mandate this is not a symmetric matrix. Okay, because the size is n by m. So can we have it for multiple edges and loops? Yes, but again the same thing, that your size of this matrix will improve. So here if you have one more edge, let's say E4, then you will have one more column. Okay, good. Easy.